All right, you guys, today we are going to create our player sprite. For this app, we're not going to use the cat sprite this time, but we are going to create a player sprite that will change the way it looks when you move around the screen. So what we want to do first off is go down to where you can choose a sprite, go up to the paintbrush, click on paint, and it automatically takes you to costumes. Now, we're going to give you a basic idea of drawing a sprite, and then once you get to the advanced levels, you can create a little more complex sprite. So we're just going to go with our player sprite. We'll name it player sprite. And it's just going to be a circle. So remember, we have this center spot right here. All right. So you see I'm kind of not centered. It's important that we're centered on that dot. Now, if you look over in the stage, it shows you how big that is. Really, don't worry about that right now, but let's get this in the middle. Right there, it'll snap in the middle, and we're going to enlarge it a little bit. Let's say we don't like that color. I'm going to go with, let's go purple. And you can also mess around with the outlines if you want. I'm not going to go with an outline. Now, that player sprite is, I'm going to say, kind of boring. So let's give it some eyeballs. So again, we're going to click on the circle tool. Let's choose a color for the eyeballs. Let's go angry red, because it's on a mission and we're trying to get to the goal. So there's one eyeball. I would like to have eyeballs that match. So I'm going to click on my select tool, and then you get at the top up here, you get some other options to work with. So I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to paste. There we go. I have the exact same size eyeball. And let's get these lined up to where we want. And there we go. So there's your first player sprite. Now, we need to create 3 more. One to go to the right, one that looks like it's going left, and one that looks like it's going down. So over here on your selection, you're going to right click or 2-finger click on duplicate, and it's going to give you the exact same thing. Notice right here it says player sprite 2. We're going to change that name, and we're going to change it to player sprite right. But the problem here is that it doesn't look like it's going to the right. So we're going to take these eyeballs again with the select tool and move them over to the right. And then I'm going to grab that bottom part, and then I'm going to rotate those over. And there's my sprite that's going to be going to the right. Now, we need one that goes to the left. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to change the name to player sprite left. And then we have some options here. So if we select this whole sprite here, all 3 things are selected, we can flip it horizontally. Watch what happens here. That's pretty cool. There we go. We don't have to move anything. We just do everything at once. But the key is that you have selected everything. Because if you just click on the circle and you flip horizontally, the circle flipped horizontally is the circle. So the eyeball didn't move. If you only have one eyeball clicked, it's going to flip horizontally right there. So we want to select the whole thing and flip it back and forth. All right, so that's a pretty cool extra tool there. So that's our left going sprite. Now, we need a down sprite. So I have a right sprite, I have a left sprite. I guess I kind of have an up sprite. And so I'm going to duplicate this one and then take a look. Just like the horizontal flip, we have a vertical flip. So I'm going to select all 3 pieces of my sprite. I'm going to click on the flip vertically. And then, guess what? I'm going to name it player sprite down. And right there, we have 4 of our sprites to go in all the different directions when you push the up arrow, down arrow, left and right arrow. And as it moves across the screen, it's going to look like it's actually looking that way. When you're in the play field, in the stage here, let's go to the code. we don't need the cat anymore. So we can click on the cat and we can delete the cat. If you feel that this is too big, this is a great place to mess with the size here. So let's say you want it to be half the size because it fits in your maze that you're making a little bit better. You can do that. Let's say you want to make it a little bit bigger. So you have a lot of options here. I kind of like, in my mind, what I have set up for my game. I'm thinking that size is pretty good. But as we program and as we code and as we draw our backdrops, we'll be able to change the size of that right there, right then, to make it work for the game. So that's it for the sprite and the 4 different costumes. Trust me, just do the circle with the eyeballs, and then once you develop your game, you can up that, draw a little bit more advanced type of sprite and use different directions for those sprites. So let's get the game working with the ball sprite, the player sprite, and then we'll go from there. Good job today, and on to your next step.